Hello everybody, welcome back. As you can tell, there is a new camera setup. It's literally just my regular camera, just pointed down. I just wanted to let you guys be able to see the actual blanket progress and everything. So you get to see my pretty hands while also watching me go through this very cringy, beautiful, amazing visual novel game, Cinderella Phenomenon, which again is free on Steam if you want to check it out. But yeah, so if you were here last time, which was a while ago, sorry, took some family time. We finished up Rumple's / Chevalier's route, and unfortunately we got the bad end to that one. And it was pretty rough, pretty rough. We did try to see if we could potentially get the good end by going back a little bit and changing some of our answers, but that was not the case. So unfortunately, we got the bad end with that, and I feel really bad about it. But now that just means you guys have more incentive to go and play the game and see if you can get the right ending. So, or the good ending. Excuse me. But yeah, so continuing our baby blanket. Anybody who's curious about the baby blanket pattern, we're just doing a 117 stitch, single crochet, double crochet baby blanket in this cream bubblegum color. Do I still have? Yes, I do. So yeah, here's the company. It's a Lion brand ice cream with strawberry. And yeah, this is the third skein that I have for this blanket. I've already started the third one, so as soon as I'm done with this one, we're moving on to the border color, which is another very light pastel pink color. This is a very pink blanket, I know. But after this, we're moving on to a very pretty blue and green peacock colored blanket. So while I'm crocheting, you'll actually be able to see me while I'm doing that, and then the game will be playing on the other screen. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. Going back to where we were. So, let's see. Thanks, Jill. I'm so glad you like it. And you actually get to watch me crochet again now while we're going through this game. So, if you missed it last time, which, unfortunately, Jill, you did, but it's okay. We still love you. We still love you, girl. Because I know you went and watched the VOD. We are a maid, right? Well, not... There's a whole backstory to the protagonist getting to the position that she is right now. I don't want to go through that whole thing, but essentially she has to break her curse, and in this route, she pretends to be a maid at the palace to get aid from her stepbrother, Rod, who is very quiet and standoffish. So that is where we're at right now. So we are back to that. He doesn't like us very much. Also, I just want to point out, we have been very bad to his family. Oh my god, we were very rude to his family, so I can understand why. So, yes, let's get into it. Remember to hydrate, everybody. Hydrate or dihydrate. There we go. All right. So turn this on. So the last place we were at, I think we went to the Marchen with Rod to see the fairies and Dolores. And Dolores is with us now. That's right. She's going to help keep an eye on things. So, it's been more than a week since Rod and I returned to the Marchen. He had been avoiding me ever since that day. Not that we have much cause to be around each other nowadays. I'm constantly on my feet preparing for Evangeline's ball. This is ridiculous. Better to be busy than bored, Princess. I stopped for a moment to better balance the pile of fabric that I'm carrying. One of the maids has ordered me to bring all this designated rooms so that it can be sorted out. Also, y'all are going to see how very slow I crochet. Like, oh my god, I'm so slow. I'm being reduced to fetching and carrying. And I have made no progress on accomplishing my first good deed. I doubt that simply following orders from other maids will help me get my first good deed. I feel a shuffling in my pocket, and then I notice Dolores peeking her porcelain face out. Better to obey rather than disobey, at least. You're not going to get a good deed being stubborn. Anyway, you've got to put yourself out there a bit more, Princess. You can't just do whatever is convenient for you. It's not good. Oh my god. Delora has been no help at all. Wait, I recognize this place. Isn't this where your room is? I stop in front of the door to my old bedroom. Ever since I came here, I've been ignoring this room, not wanting to see what the king did to it during my absence. Do you not want to go in? Why should I? It's not as if it's as if it's not my room anymore. You're no fun. Aren't you curious about how it changed? Well, I would be lying if I said I wasn't. I guess a little peek would not hurt. I step into the room and close the door behind me. Like gasp. It's like stepping into the past. The room is exactly as I left it. It seems completely untouched. Moments later, Delora is standing before me in her human form. It looks like someone's been dusting in here. Strange, considering no one should remember who this room even belongs to. I glance around, eyes wide. Everything looks the same. I put the fabric that I'm carrying down on my bed and make my way to the shelf where my dolls are displayed. My eyes pause on a specific doll. This one was not here before. Delora raises an eyebrow. Maybe you just don't remember that one because she wasn't very memorable? You do have a lot of dolls after all. Beep, 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 haunted doll watch. No, I know each of my dolls by name. This one is definitely new. She looks very similar to the dolls I saw at Victoria's shop. I quickly turn at the sound of the doorknob. Hi, Jess, welcome. My eyes move to Delora, but she has already turned into a doll and tucks herself into a corner of the shelf with the rest of my dolls. Also, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, Jill, that your crochet took a week. It was supposed to take 3 hours. Thank you, I'm glad you like the blanket. I've definitely had projects that have taken me, a very long time, but like I tell everybody that has wanted to start crocheting, you just gotta start slow and take your time. It's not a rush. You know, you shouldn't jump directly into crocheting to like start doing commissions or anything. Like, my God. But yes, we are in haunted doll territory. Also, sorry if my hands move away from the camera while I'm doing this. I'm very. This is a new setup for me, and my arms are not quite used to being extended this long and having to crochet like this, but I hope you guys do enjoy the little bit of watching me actually do this. I do have small Nikki arms, my tiny little Jurassic hands. No, they're small. They're so small, so short. Yes, Abe, you would know because you've seen me in person, so you know how demonstratively short I am. It's terrifying. Just completely dwarf me. Anyway. Same. I'm a pretty solid hugger. I'll take that. Okay. Evangeline stands in the doorway, eyeing me curiously. Lucette, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm so glad I changed that name. I made a mistake and thought I was supposed to bring these fabrics here. I hope she does not see through my lie. Evangeline shakes her head, smiling. It's not your fault, Lucette. You're still getting used to the palace and its many rooms. I got lost here all the time when I first arrived, too. This room is interesting, though. Father expressly ordered that it be kept clean, but otherwise undisturbed. Why would he say that? But he won't say why, but apparently this room is very special to him. Maybe it belonged to someone he cherished. Ollie is a very good hugger. I mean, his hugs are mostly just him just running face first into the part of your body that is closest to him, so that's about the hug you're gonna get there. And I used to crocheting back in high school, but college was a mess and I dropped it. I'm trying to pick it up again. I'm glad you're going back to it. Like, even if it's, not... even if it takes you a while, I've found that it's a nice little... If anything, it's a nice thing to just kind of randomly pull out of my bag and just start doing out in public or in, like, family gatherings. And it's always a nice little conversation piece when people are like, what are you making? And I'll be like, Christmas presents or a blanket. That's usually the two that I end up doing. So, and, I'm glad that I get to, like, just show you guys that, I'm not that fast. I'm so slow. So, such a slow crocheter. And this is an easy one, too. It's literally double crochet to single crochet all the way down. There's no, like, weird, crazy dips and adding into certain areas. Yes, oh my god. I actually started crocheting mostly because I have a friend of mine who played with us in D&D, and she was knitting at the table, and I was like, oh, that's super rad. I want to do that. And so she and I just became the grandmas at the table, just knitting while we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. But let me tell you, if there are times where you're just sitting there, like, not finding yourself just drifting away with, your games, and you're wondering, like, why? Having something to fidget with. Like, usually most people, like, will doodle or they'll stack their dice. Having, like, a little mini crochet project that doesn't really require, like, a whole lot of counting, is very good for keeping track of, like, or, like, staying on task in the games I have found. I've never tried to knit. I've never tried to do the whole needles thing, but I'm pretty sure I could do it if I just practiced at it. But I like crocheting. I like this. This is nice. This is chill. One hook, bunch of fingers. But I feel like knitting would look really impressive. Oh my god, 5 needles. Why would you get 5 needles going? It's crazy. Yeah, that's... But I also have seen, the knit patterns that people make, and they are gorgeous. My god. Yes, I've seen it. I've seen the witchcraft. Maybe not yours, Jess, but Jess, if you ever want to join me on here and do, like, a knitter's corner and just talk about stuff, we could read stories. We could read stories and chat and do some knitting. Be 2 little old ladies. It'd be great. I'll do that with anybody. All right, back to the story. Cherished? What a joke. Still, I cannot help but feel hope at her suggestion. Sorry about the weird mic noise, had to turn it. I don't think Father would like either of us being in here. We should leave soon. I only came here to put a ribbon on one of the dolls. A ribbon? One of the dolls? She walks past me to pick up the doll I do not recognize. I bought this. I know Evangeline always visited Victoria, but I did not think she liked dolls. She always preferred receiving and buying books, so why does she have this doll? Do you like dolls? Well, I mean, I don't mind them, but I don't usually buy them for myself, no. So why did you buy this one? Evangeline looks at the doll with a sad smile and shakes her head. I'm not sure. I bought it as a gift, I remember that much. I was going to give it to someone who liked dolls. Someone I wanted to befriend. Bum bum bum! Evangeline's a nice girl. I don't know why, but it feels right to leave the doll here until I can remember whom I was meant to give her to. Evangeline is silent before she turns to me with a bright smile. I know you have a delivery to make, but could you come with me to the palace entrance first? Mother is still busy talking with the cook, so the fabric can wait. I resist the urge to glare at her. She better not be dragging me around to do yet more errands. I'm expecting a delivery and I might need your help. I thought so. I have no choice but to nod. Of course. I begrudgingly follow Evangeline towards the entrance, and there I see the delivery carriage. A familiar person stands beside it. Oh, Victoria! Evangeline pulls Victoria into a tight hug. I turn my attention away to glare at the number of boxes at the back of the carriage. I will no doubt have to carry them inside. How are the preparations for the ball coming? Evangeline's smile seems forced at first, but then eases into something softer. It's going well, I suppose. How about the wedding? Desmond and I have finalized the date. It'll be 2 days after your ball. Wow. What suffering. I can't wait to see you in your wedding dress. These two always talk so much when they get together. I ignore their chatter as I walk up to the carriage to observe the boxes piled inside. What is in the boxes? Oh! Victoria reached out to grab one. She hands it to me. I'm helping with the ball decorations. I came by with part of the order today. Part of it? Careful, it's a bit heavy. I take the box from her hands and nearly stumble. This is heavy. Evangeline should have the mail servants do this. Queen Ophelia placed quite a large order. I brought the more fragile decorations first. You can't say that, Jess. Hannah is so strong. Oh, the glass baubles and vases. Oh, it's glass. I grit my teeth as I shift the box in my arms in an attempt to make it easier to hold. I thought you worked at a toy shop. Yes, but we also have an aisle dedicated specifically to party decorations. What kind of toy shop is that? A convenient one. Lucette, will you be alright? I feel more annoyance simmer within me. I am obviously not alright. Evangeline reaches out to help me with the box, but she is too late. I have only taken one step forward, then the box slides and I stumble. I manage to cradle it in my arms, but its weight is too much for me. Before I hit the ground, I feel strong arms wrapped around my waist, pulling me back upright. The box is taken from me. Oh, I love this trope. I love it so much. Be still, my weak little baby heart. My heart and mind are racing, and for a moment I cannot comprehend what has just happened. Are you all right? Rod? I glance to the side and am shocked to see Rod standing there. The expression on his face gives nothing away, but with our close distance I can see some flicker of emotion in his bright eyes. Ooh. Ooh. Concern? Lucette, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And the mood is broken. Rod pushes me and I stumble forward, almost tripping on the ground. He raises an eyebrow at me. I know your limits, Lucette. I glare at him as anger begins to bubble in my chest. All right. Great timing. Perfect timing. So now we have finished that row and on to the next one. We turn our work. Whoop. Also, I don't know if I can show you guys properly. So this is the, oh no, yeah, you can't even see it completely on my screen. But this is just like the end, one side of the blanket. It's so long. It's so long, you guys. I can't wait for this to be over. I say that as if I don't enjoy making these projects. Okay, so now we have a choice to make. As the anger is bumbling inside me, do I tell him off or do I stay silent? I think you guys, if you guys missed the last time I played this game, I did turn on the right choice indicator, yeah. So we'll know after I choose and after some dialogue if I chose the correct one. But real quick, I did want to, I saw Jill's message and I couldn't really say anything about it because it was a really long, wonderful message and I was doing things. But, yeah, when I first learned to crochet, actually, the first time I saw crochet, I wanted to get into it was like back in high school. A friend of mine crocheted at her desk and made a bunch of really cute gothic crochet items. It was wonderful. Gothic rainbow crochet items, too, now that I think about it. They were wonderful and I really wanted some. But I wanted to make them instead. I was also like a little jealous of how creative and great she was, but that's high school me. I've gotten over that. Not jealous of people being great at things, but just not the like really bad jealousy. More like you're doing such a great job, and I also want to do this, but if I can't, that's okay because you're still good at it, and that's great. But I really wanted to do that and I didn't really do so good at it while I was in high school and like after that, but yeah, about like 7 or 8 years ago, 2013, how long ago was that? 8 years ago. Okay. Yeah, 8 years ago. That was about the time that I got really into crocheting because of another friend of mine having stuff, and I just looked up YouTube videos. Like that's probably the easiest way to start on any of this is to just do YouTube videos. So that's my recommendation, Jill. If you ever want to, or I could have Jill join me on here. I would love to do that. We can just have a knitting / crochet circle and just talk and chat and discuss nerd things. I don't know, but being able to do that is really great. So again, just yes, right? Yes. Crochet knitter circle through a Zoom call where we all just look at each other's hands and we're like, oh, so that's how you do that. Okay. Anyway, we need to pick Aw, Steph. Hey, miss you. Love you. How's it going? I'm making a blanket. Thank you. Also, like, right, the sound effect is really fun. I don't think the alert box... Did the alert box go off? I hope it did. It should have. Anyway, hey, Steph. Yes. So, I mean, technically it's more pink and white. If I had some, like, sunset orange in here, it would definitely be a lesbian flag, but we're just gonna just tell people that it's just a pink baby blanket. But we know. We know in our heart of hearts. Oh, I would love to make pride blankets. If you guys want to see me crochet pride blankets, just, you know, shout into the chat if you want that. That would be so much fun. Unfortunately, with the way that the various not camera lights, but the camera and the two light fixtures that I have, it's really just 3 colors. You've got, well, more like 4. There's like a very faint pink, the white, and then a very dark pink. Not much of an orange in there or a mauve color, but I know those colors exist in yarn. And I can make a lesbian blanket. I can make a gay blanket. I can make a. It is self-striping. It was this lady's blanket would be super hard. I don't know how the yarn is so perfect for this pattern. So it's it's 117 stitches across. So like I don't really have any control over like when the change happens. Pink, black, and purple Slady's blanket would be great. But yeah, it's normally supposed to have like an ombre effect, kind of like what you guys saw with the orange blanket that I made. That's on the Discord. But this one is surprisingly like making very even lines with the different colors. Like the fade is just very, very good. So this is a great blanket. I'm really enjoying it. Yes, I have made a pink blanket for my little baby girl that I'm having. Yes, I recognize that forcing gender norms onto children is not great, but also pink is just such a nice color. And like, not everything I'm getting my child is pink, but a lot of it is pink because I love pink. And I got so much like side eye for trying to give Oliver any kind of pink stuff, which again, I shouldn't be trying to force that onto my baby, but again, it's a baby. It doesn't know what it's getting put into. But the amount of like pink clothing that I've received, which I have turned a few things down, like anything super sparkly or anything like with like a tutu on it. I'm just like, no, don't want any of that. We have thankfully saved a whole bunch of the stuff that we had for Oliver back when he was a baby, so you know, we're using a bunch of that. But we also gave away a bunch of stuff to friends. But yeah, there's a lot, so much girl clothing. Like if you really just, like, you can't shop girl clothing or even boy clothing for that matter. You just, like, especially for babies, just look up newborn clothes and just kind of go from there, which is why, if anybody is curious, I'll at some point probably in the beginning of May, if anybody is like super curious about getting anything for little baby Maya, which is her name, Maya Aowin Baluri, the bebe, yes. I do have a registry, and like we expect from the family them to get us, like, you know, the diaper bag and the booster seat and all that stuff. But if friends want to get you know, any of the nerdy apparel that I have in there, or send us your own nerdy apparel, I will take anything at this point. Especially like blankets or swaddlers or just funny goofy stuff. We do also like, actually that's the next thing that I'm probably gonna make. So I'm gonna finish this blanket and then I'm gonna make another blanket, and then after I finish all the kids blankets, there is a pattern that I found for making crocheted game dice blocks. I'm pretty sure I have it in here. Yes, I do. Hold on, I'll be right. Let's see. And oh yeah, I mean all of my children are RPG kids, but yeah. So the link I just threw into the chat is crochet dice. Oh my god, I would love a little paladin onesie. Actually, I think on the registry there is a like character sheet onesie, which is adorable. So yeah, if anybody wants to, yeah, I could also probably get that printed somewhere. Rob's brother owns a printing shop. I think he would absolutely adore he's probably making a onesie right now. That would be great. Anyway, baby clothes. I'm really into baby clothes. They don't have a very long wearability life, so I'm always like, don't feel like you have to buy it, especially if you like already know somebody who has these clothes. Just send them to me, and then I'll send them to somebody else. Because one of my friends was talking about how when she was pregnant with her daughter, she was like, yeah, I don't want new clothes, only give me used clothes, because in her family, her family's from China, it's a sign of good luck to wear hand-me-downs, especially hand-me-downs of babies that have grown out of the onesies and are, you know, alive and thriving and being sweet and adorable somewhere else, but just don't need these clothes anymore. So yeah. Oop. Speaking of children, I hear Oliver behind the door. He's probably off doing something, but anyway, I have talked long enough because I'm pretty much stalling. I don't know which choice to make here. That's really the whole point. Is like, I just don't know which choice to choose over here. Hi, by the way, if you're joining us, we're playing Cinderella Phenomenon, this beautiful, amazing, free visual novel game on Steam. It's great. I played it before years ago and wanted to play it again because a sequel came out and I really want to play that for you all. So, but yeah, I don't know which one I want to pick. So, let's see. Glare at him as anger bubbles up in my chest, and do I tell him off or stay silent? Right. Also, just repurpose baby clothes. Tell him off. It's okay, Jess. Apparently so am I, because we got the bad end on the last one. Y'all say tell him off. Here we go. Pushing people like that is not something a good prince would do. Oops, nope, I already did it. No. I do not bother to hide the anger in my voice. Whoops. It was a nudge. Still, that was very cool of you, Your Highness. Oops. Anger flares up in Rod's eyes as he takes a step towards me. Oop. Oh, look who's talking. Rod, stop that. Rod turns away from Evangeline, ignoring her. Victoria, what are you doing here? Oh, we definitely picked the wrong one. No. I don't think there's a way for us to go back to pick the correct choice. Can we do that? Nope. No, we can't. Oh no! No, it's fine. It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. Oh my god. No, it's fine. We can't go back. We can't go back. We could, but then you'd have to watch me fast forward. Oh my god. One of my friends gets so mad at me. No, don't oversave this. Don't load. God. Yes. One of my friends gets so mad at me when I do, You want to skip to the next scene, the next choice. Yes. Perfect. Great. Excellent. We did it. We didn't have to go through that whole thing. So we're going to stay silent. Okay. And we're going to pause here. One of my friends gets so mad at me because I do this a lot where it's called save scumming, where you pause your game right before like a choice or a decision or whatever, and then you play through it, and then you go back to the save and you play through it again. I don't know for what purpose people do that besides, you know, these things where like you have a choice to make and you're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be the right choice or not, so better to save it now and make sure I don't pick the wrong thing. So oh no, we killed all the mages. Oh god. I have played through games where I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna save here and I'm gonna do the bad thing and then I'm gonna, like playing Dragon Age when you're like, I'm gonna pick the mean choices and you have to save beforehand, so when you do make the mean choices and you see what happens, you're just like, oh no, it's so mad, I feel terrible, and then you immediately reload it and you pick the good choice because you don't want to make your favorite people cry. It's also a visual novel. Who cares? This is entertainment for you guys. No, Jess, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Alistair being mad at you and hearing his voice be like upset with you is just the worst. Thank you, Streamlabs, for reminding me to hydrate. Yeah, hearing people being like upset at you is always just like, Anyway, so this time we decided to just conceal, don't feel, don't let him know how upset we are. So I clench my fist and take a deep breath to try and calm myself. I will not stoop to his level. Good job, good girl. He's the one being cruel here, not me. Okay, here we go. You shouldn't have stubbornly tried to carry something that was too heavy for you. I will not take responsibility if you get hurt. Rod, you shouldn't be angry with her for trying to help me. It was my fault for giving her something so heavy. Yeah, no, right? Go back and tell him off. Victoria, what are you doing here? Rod's voice is still cold. Victoria looks startled by his tone. I only came to deliver some of the decorations for the ball. Also, I don't know if you guys know this. Yeah, no. All of the dudes... I'm not going to give away any secrets, but most of the dudes start off not liking our character, which is fine, because it's a visual novel, and we're supposed to, like, work towards them liking us. By the way, for this character, he is under the mermaid's curse, so, like, the Little Mermaid. So he actually cannot speak. He has lost his voice. We do not know how to regain his voice, nor how to break his curse. He knows, but our character does not know. So anytime you hear him talking, it's actually this little stuffed animal on his shoulder that's talking for him, called Sebi. And the fairy lady at the tavern actually gave it to him so that he had a way to communicate. But technically this guy does not talk. So you're hearing his voice coming out of the small stuffed animal, which, wouldn't that just be weird, like, in real life, to, like, look at somebody and wait for them to, like, move their mouth and talk, but instead it's just the doll next to him. There's a lot of haunted dolls in this route, Jess. Cotton's parrot, yes, you're not wrong. Okay. Boop. And you thought Evangeline and her maid could carry these things on their own? Rod, that's not her fault. I'm the one who chose to bring Lucette with me. I underestimated the size of the delivery. There's a lot of DiGiorno here, okay? Victoria was just delivering the supplies. At least she admits her mistakes. I never thought Rod would be so stubborn. Evangeline's expression softens as she looks at her brother. She looks sad. Rod ignores her and picks up the box that I've been carrying. He begins to walk away before he suddenly stops and glances back at me. Come on. We're melting his heart. Rod, we're going to call some servants to carry these boxes in. He turns around and begins to walk away. I'm Evangeline's personal maid, not his. I glance at Evangeline, who nods her head. I really am so sorry. Thank you for helping my brother, Lucette. No, don't let me go with him. I curtsy ever so slightly before running after Rod. At least Rod, while being a douche nugget, Rod, wait, isn't the terrible flirt like, he picks up his pace as if he's trying to lose me. I turn the corner and barely stop myself before running right into Rod's back. At least he's not a terrible flirt like the last guy. What now? Why are you so angry at me today? I have barely even spoken to you. Your mere presence is enough to darken my mood. I glare at him and cross my arms. Funny, you call me cruel, but right now you are worse than I ever was. I don't need someone who hasn't even managed a single good deed to lecture me. Yeah, we hated Rumple. Rumple was terrible. I have tried very hard to resist the urge to slap him. Do it! Slap him! You were supposed to help me get a good deed. As I said before, I never agreed to this. I still refuse to help you. Rod starts walking again, and I hurry after him. I cannot help but recall how cold he was with Victoria earlier. Yeah, why are you so cold with that lady? I thought they were friends, but he treated her like this at the toy shop, too. Why are you so unhappy with Victoria earlier? No reason. I raise an eyebrow when Rod quickly answers the question. Then you were cold for no reason. You have such a princely disposition. Rod frowns, but has no rebuttal for my words. You must be generally cold and unfriendly. Excuse me? That would explain why you treat Victoria as you did. I had thought you two were childhood friends. Victoria has always considered closer with Evangeline than me. We may have been friendly once, but we've since become distant. Okay. Distant? It's none of your business. Sorry, I'm trying to move my ring out of the way because it keeps getting caught in the fab into the yarn. I pause as we pass by my door, and remembering that I left both the fabrics and Delora inside, I make my way towards the door and open it. What are you doing? None of your business. Jill, you could be right. Enjoyed your field trip? I frown when I see her sitting on my bed in human form. What have you done if it wasn't for me? Us witches have a sense for these things. Delora? Rod slowly enters the room. Oh god, it's the bee! Oh, sorry, that's Sebby's voice. I forgot. Again, Sebby, the little guy here. It's nice to see you here, Lady Delora. I just love it. I love him. He's so sweet. Much sweeter than Rod is being. It's nice to see you too, little Sebby. Why are you here? Delora shrugs as she inspects her nails. I thought I would help the princess here since someone doesn't seem very willing. Rod furrows his eyebrows at her. I didn't... Yes, I know. You didn't sign up for this. Oop. Okay. But you really think you have a choice, Rod? Actually, Steph, Rod is under the Little Mermaid's curse. So, yeah, if he were... I don't think any of the characters in here have the Snow Queen's curse, but that would be a really good one to do. I keep forgetting. Reading a lot of things is hard for me right now. I have so many screens open. Yeah. No, he just is a butthole. But again, in the prologue, when we first meet our character, Lucette, she's being a butthole to Rod and to his sister and to everybody, and just downright mean. She's actually called the Ice Princess, which, again, I would love a character like that. Not like an actual Ice Princess in here, but one of the characters to have the Snow Queen's curse. That would be real good. Okay. So yeah, got another 10 or 15 minutes of gameplay, and then we're probably gonna go on break so that I can put the sweet baby to bed. / probably have him say goodnight to all of you, and then we'll go to bed. Anyway, do you really think you have a choice, Rod? Delora looks at Rod pointedly. You know the consequences if this fails. Rod looks away, expression conflicted. Oh? Consequences? There are consequences? What are you talking about? Consequences for not helping me with my curse? Rod sighs heavily before turning back to Delora. He does not pay attention to me. I am not the right person for this. Doesn't matter what you think. The princess thought you were, so suck it up and do your job. Such anguish. Such angst. Rod is silent for a few moments before he finally faces me, looking resigned. I will help you then, but don't expect me to change my opinions of you. Aww, that's fine. I shrug at him. It's not like I was expecting you to in the first place. Delora grinned with clear triumph. Good talk. Rod sighs. In order to achieve your good deeds, you're going to need to mend what you broke before. I feel like I already know what he's going to say. My sister has always wanted to be your friend, so you must do just that. Show her kindness and you may be able to get your first good deed through her. Show her kindness, huh? Delora decides to stay in my room for the time being, saying that she believes Rod will be able to help me for now. Sorry, I'm going to pause here real quick. This painting in the corner here, it's like the painting of like a lady looking at a knight riding on a horse. It's a somewhat famous painting. I just can't think of the name of it, but I like that it's in here. It's just a weird thing, like, oh yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's water horse. Because they're not by water. She's like on some steps. He's leaving. Thank you, Jess. Thank you for helping me with this. Godspeed. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. This would have bothered me later, and I would have like come back from break going, it's called Godspeed. Anyway, that's fun that that's in here. Anyway, later, I make my way to the dining room with the fabrics and see Evangeline and Ophelia inside. Lucette. Oh, I see you have the fabric. Thank you. Ophelia takes the topmost sample of fabric and begins to inspect it as Evangeline walks up to me. Thanks, Jess. Where's Rod? He returned to his studies. Oh, right. He has history lessons today, and I'm yet to finish my history homework, which is due tomorrow. As Evangeline muses out loud, I ponder what Rod told me earlier. I must become Evangeline's friend, but is that really a good deed? I hope Rod didn't send the servants out before he went back to his room. I wanted to tell him that Victoria and I had already called on guards to bring the boxes inside. Maybe he decided to start his lessons early so that he could make your dance lesson this evening. Dance lesson? Father wanted to hire the best dance instructor in this land, but I honestly feel more comfortable with Rod teaching me. He's a good dancer, so Father has allowed it. That is surprising. I did not know Rod could dance. You don't know a lot of things about this family because you don't like him. He used to prefer singing, but then Ophelia trails off. I know that she is talking about the fairy tale curse, but I do not expect her to divulge such information to a maid like myself. He decided to focus on his dancing for the past few months. Oh my god, like the little mermaid would dance and then bleed out of her slippers. Oh my god. Ophelia glances down at the fabric, then looks up and smiles at me. Lucette, would you mind helping me with this? I obediently walk over to the fabrics Ophelia wants me to look through. They are apparently samples for the tablecloth that will be used during the ball. This is going to be a long day. Rod comes immediately to the throne room after his history lessons to start on his dance lessons with Evangeline. I'm only standing here because it's my responsibility as her personal maid to watch over her as she practices. Shh, 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 shh. No one needs to know. No one needs to know. No one needs to know. I do, yeah, dancing is something that you feel instead of have to hear. And I love it. It's so pretty. It's so great. Anyway, here we go. Bam. I watch as she steps out of rhythm and Rod sighs at her. You're doing it wrong. That's the 10th time. Sorry. Again. They start from the beginning, and I am unable to stifle my own sigh when Evangeline messes up the same step again. This would make the 11th time. I really am terrible at this. Would you rather have the royal dance instructor teach you? He has more experience teaching you than I do. Oh no, I really do want you to teach me, Rod. I'm sorry that I'm such a slow learner. You were always good at everything. Singing, dancing, cooking. Ooh, cooking? Prince Rod cooks? Yes, Rod does cook. He's very good at it. You didn't have to tell her that, Em. Does it really matter? I love bragging about how talented my little brother is. I see a twinge of pique on Rod's cheeks as he turns away. Aww. He bashful. Is he embarrassed? Evangeline looks down at the floor, her smile smaller. Yes, give me your guesses. I wish I was as talented as you, Rod. I'd always thought Evangeline was overly optimistic. She always seemed to bounce back with a smile, no matter how many times I pushed her away. Now I cannot help but reconsider that thought. Still, seeing her like this only irritates me. Pitying yourself will get you nowhere. Not everyone can be perfect at everything when they first start out. Le gasp. I remember when Mother gave me similar lessons. She was always such a harsh teacher, and she hated when I showed weakness in front of her. She made me keep practicing until I had perfected whatever she wanted me to do. Failure was never an option. I never had time for self-pity. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, just try harder. Let failure inspire you to do better. Lucette, She's right, Rod. Instead of complaining, I should be working harder. I let out an exasperated sigh and crossed my arms. You always look at your feet whenever you reach the underarm turn. Instead, focus on counting your steps and let Prince Rod lead you. Worrying too much on your next step is what puts you off rhythm. Evangeline stares at me. Can you dance, Lucette? I can. Why? Wow, that's amazing! Here we go. There's nothing amazing about my being able to dance. Her praise makes me embarrassed regardless. Maybe I could learn faster seeing someone else do the dance first. What are you talking about? Oh my god. It might be easier to copy the steps if I can have someone perform them first. She turns to me, suddenly eyes bright. Would you help me? I am meant to assist Evangeline in any way that I can, but dancing with her brother? Surely a lowly maid should not be doing this. Oh, but we're going to. Say yes. And of course we're going to accept. Well, if I do accept, at least I can prove that I'm the better dancer than Rod. Besides, I'm supposed to be listening to Evangeline no matter how absurd her requests are. If that is what you want. Really? Evangeline rushes up to me and takes my hand in hers. Thank you, Lucette. I thought it might be an awkward request, but I'm so happy that you've agreed to this. I turned to look at Rod, who was glowering at me. I'm not dancing with her. She might step on my foot. Oh no! Evangeline gives him a disappointed look. Oh, that was the wrong choice! Rod, please? Rod eyes me warily. I step towards him and offer my hand. Shall we? So, yeah, so the little indicator did not come up, so we picked the wrong choice. I feel like every time we pick a choice, we should just be like, this is the one that I feel like it should be, and then pick the opposite one. Because I feel like that's the only way we're going to get the correct choices and get the good end. Anyway, refuse. Even if I do agree, I doubt Rod would even want to dance with me. You cannot learn how to dance by watching someone. You have to practice the steps yourself. But if you need a break, you can always say so, Em. No, really, I find it easier to learn through visuals. Sorry for making you uncomfortable, Lucette. Let's just continue our practice, Rod. Evangeline smiles at me, but it's obvious that she looks more disheartened now. Rod looks at his sister before shaking his head. He turns to walk towards me. He holds out his hand. Would you dance with me? What? Rod leans closer to me and speaks in a low voice. Play along. This is just for Evangeline. Boom! There it is. He actually curious about your dancing, princess. If the indicator does take a minute, but I feel like you have to get through. There's Oliver, everybody. All right, real quick, we're going to save this one. All right.
I'm just licking you.
You're licking me? Gross! Oh my goodness. All right. Oliver, people can't see you, but come here. Yes, Steph, download the game. Cinderella Phenomenon on Steam. It is free on Steam. Oliver, can you say night night?
No.
Here, wave your hand. Wave your hand over here. Whoops. Oop! Don't hit the microphone.
You good?
All right. Say night night, everybody.
Hey, everybody!
Yeah, he's pretty cute. He's also got the hiccups. All right. Go pick out the 2 books you want to read tonight. Okay, Mommy, be right there. All right, and with that, we're gonna take ourselves a quick little break, get Oliver into bed, and be back where we are right now with Cinderella Phenomenon. And yeah, by the way, Steph, yeah, there's like 5 different people you can pick from. This is I'm going literally from like my least favorite to my favorite. So thanks for hanging out with us, Jess. So yeah, go take some go take a bathroom break, go get some water, maybe go eat some cake or something. I do have cake sitting here, so I might take a little bite of that as well. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side in just a second. Bye-bye. And we're back. Hi, everybody. I hope you were able to get some refreshments, drink some water, words. Hey, kid, just on time. Wow, good job. Welcome. We have a new camera set up where now you guys get to actually watch me make these baby blankets. In media res. Okay. So. How did I get my start as a crochetist? Let's see. We actually talked about this earlier in the stream. I saw a friend of mine doing it in high school, and I really wanted to get into it, but I wasn't very good back in high school, so I kind of dropped it for a little bit. And then a friend of mine was crocheting. She wasn't crocheting. She was knitting at the D&D table back when I lived with roommates, and like in my first D&D game. And I was so excited about that, and I wanted to join her because, one, that just looked really fun and exciting, and 2, it was just such a nice like little extra thing to do to kind of keep your mind on track when you're playing D&D. I've not been diagnosed with ADHD, but I'm pretty sure I could go to a specialist and probably find out that I'm on the spectrum. I'm pretty sure I'm on the spectrum for ADHD, but I've never been tested for it. I do every now and again, though, do find myself like getting sidetracked on things and not being able to pay attention really well to stuff. But anyway, yeah, I saw her making a scarf, and so I wanted to make a scarf, and the rest is kind of history from there. Every time I get an idea for something, it's a lot. I do it a lot more now, but I've been kind of practicing on and off again for the past like 8 or so years. So like at the beginning, it was just like granny squares and scarves, but now I make cute little headbands and tea cozies and baby blankets. I still need to make those really nice like scale hand mitten things that Myrrh makes, because those are beautiful. And also probably after all the baby blankets are all done, I'll be making these little crocheted dice that I found a pattern for. I just put that in the chat because that would be really fun and really exciting to make a set for either Maya or Oliver. But yeah, I just like They're so cute. Also, thanks to Steph kind of bringing it up because of how the blanket looks in the lighting that I have for it. It looks like the lesbian pride flag. Unfortunately, it's not. It doesn't have any orange or mauve in it. But it is a very nice striped white and pink pattern. But now I really want to make pride flag blankets. Make those for people, especially like with this stitch pattern that I've got. It's really easy. Mauve is a very fun word to say. I'm always just like, oh yes, I like this word. It's great. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I started, and I've been kind of doing it ever since. I've been doing it a lot more recently. I was much more into like making my own clothing at one point. I used to be I'm still a cosplayer, but there was a time where I made clothes and costumes for myself. And that kind of fell by the wayside because it's a little harder to find time to haul out a whole machine, keep it clean, and make things with that. But I was doing that for a good bit. But crocheting stuff, I think, both is a little more not versatile, but a little more portable. And people really enjoy crochet items. It's just something very holistic and sweet about getting a hand-stitched crocheted or knitted item. I even like making them in like certain color patterns for certain people because I know that will accent something either about their person or about their home area life thing. So all of my family really liked the pretty shawls that I made them for Christmas. The shawls showed me like how. I'm so glad you like the headband stuff. I love making those. I loved making them and being like, what colors will I pick for this person? I've made so many headbands for people, and specifically people in like my D&D groups, in the color scheme of their characters. That's always really fun. Like, I feel like that's the thing about people who do craft projects. They're just like, what's the color scheme here? I feel like that's the similar thought process somebody who makes like a Pinterest board or a playlist on Spotify, something along those lines. They get that like bug of like, what are the combinations of a thing for this person / character? And I really enjoyed that a lot. So, I have not made one for any of my characters recently, but if I had to make one for a particular character, I think for Nia, for the Craftic Studios Saving Face, I probably would make a green and like a I feel like I would make it in the color of the dice that I have for her. So like, if I had to make a headband, it would be in this color scheme with some like gold kind of like mixed into it. But yeah, crocheting is great and fun, and it's not for everybody. But if there was going to be a like small crafty thing that not only like you can do while you talk with somebody or while you have guests over or while you're out and about and doing something that you kind of have to wait around. Pretty much like if you have time to read a book, you have time to crochet. It's kind of like, well, even more than that actually, because I can crochet usually while watching like a video kind of on in the background or while I'm hanging out with people and talking with them. I do have to like pause and like check my work usually, but I think having like a small little project that you do with your hands is always really, really nice. And if people can get into it, great. If not, that's fine. You're not a terrible person for not having a small crafts project. But enough about that, because I will ramble about that for a very long time because I think it's really fun. We are back with Cinderella Phenomenon, and we're watching me make this cute little baby blanket. So we are on Rod's route. Rod has just asked us to dance after we did an option for that, and his little guy on his shoulder, Sebi, says he's actually curious about your dancing, princess, which is adorable. He's such a tsundere, which I don't know how many people know what that word means, but he's absolutely the character that is like not a fan of your character at all. He says that at least, but on the inside he's actually just, dealing with things and doesn't know how to deal with his feelings. This is so much better than Rumpel's route, because Rumpel was a terrible, horrible flirt, and I didn't take any of his words seriously, and just somebody out there is into that character. I'm not. Also, technically your character in this game is 17 going on 18, so technically everybody that you are dating is either the age of 18 or younger. Or not the age of 18 or younger, Jesus, but between the ages of like 16 and 18. Rumpel was 24, and in like the grand scheme of things, 17 to 24, that's a 7-year difference. When you're older, that's not super bad. When you're 17 and 24, though, that's not great. So, my least favorite route. Not a fan. That was the sound of me drinking water, not doing anything else. I don't do that. By the way, if anybody's curious, we're at 28 weeks now, so I'm officially in the 3rd trimester of my pregnancy, so we are reaching the end goal. Hooray! Anyway, back to this game. Le gasp. I'm surprised when Sebi suddenly whispers to me. I can tell it's Sebi by the change in the pitch of his voice. Oops, sorry, Rod. No, you're not. Rod glares at Sebi before looking at me again. Well? I shift my gaze to Evangeline, who is practically beaming. I sigh and take Rod's hand. I know Evangeline does not like treating me as a maid, but this is a little too much. Fine, just this once. Aww. Little cards, I love it. I put my hand on his shoulder, and he places his hand on the small of my back. Rod looks at me, but quickly averts his eyes. Oh, I love it. Is something wrong? I didn't think I would ever have to dance with you, is all. Neither did I. Rod looks at me again. This time he has an uncomfortable scowl on his face. He's not the only one uncomfortable. He's not the only uncomfortable one here. We both start dancing, and I mentally start counting the steps. It has been a long time since I last danced with anyone, but the steps come to me naturally. The dance is rather simple. While Rod and I move stiffly, I cannot help but notice his careful footwork. I realize that Rod really is a pretty decent dancer. Of course, I would never openly admit that. When we stop, I hear Evangeline clapping her hands as she looks at the both of us in awe. You really are a good dancer. Thank you so much for showing me the steps. Now I know for sure what to do during that part. I just shrug at her before stepping back into the corner. Evangeline takes her position in front of Rod once more. This time she has a bright smile on her face. I cannot believe something as simple as that has made her so happy. At the end of the day, Evangeline has managed to do the steps correctly. She tells me many times how grateful she is for the help. Cookbook distraction will happen. After practice, I return to my room and retire to bed. I think about how happy Evangeline was. How can such a small thing make a person so happy? You stepped out of rhythm again, Lucette. But Mother, this is really hard. A princess never complains. You must perfect this waltz by tomorrow, otherwise I will not allow you to play with your dolls for the day. But if you have time for objections, you have time to push yourself harder. Now, once again from the top. The following days are uneventful. Evangeline continues her dance lessons with Rod. Her steps are still far from perfect, but I can tell that she has improved since my demonstration with Rod. Meanwhile, Rod still chooses to ignore me most of the time, though I have noticed that he is less cold than usual. Oh yeah, you see from the dreams that Lucette's mother is terrible. At least he does not snap at me for no good reason anymore. Though Delora is no longer assisting me, she insists on staying in my room more often. She says that there is something important she wants to investigate, and I cannot even guess what it might be. I prefer not having her around anyway. Her constant chattering makes it difficult to focus on anything. Right now, I am trying to figure out how I can achieve my first good deed. Almost 3 months have passed since I was first cursed, but I have yet to complete my first good deed. So, Steph, funny you should mention her. Because, again, I've played this game all the way through, like, 3 times, because I've played through everybody's good and bad routes, and then also gotten some extra achievements, which, again, it's free on Steam, girl. Get it. That was pretty much Lucette's mom. The old queen who disappeared suddenly about a year ago. She gets brought up constantly through each of the guys' routes, but she's very prominent in a particular person's route. I think in 2, actually. You know what? That's right. Yeah, she becomes very prominent in 2 people's routes. It's great. She's awful. like very much Mother Gothel levels of gaslighting. It's wonderful. It's so good. And I'm also not going to tell you whose roots she is most prominent in. You're just going to have to believe me. Yay! Oh my god, you're going to have so much fun. There is also a sequel, which, by the way, Steph, just go ahead and play through Rumpel's route. If you watch me play through any of that, he's just well, you might think it's funny that he's a terrible flirt. I don't know. Also, some things in the game I will admit are a little bit problematic, but I just take it with a grain of salt because nothing in there is like holistically like pandering towards anything bad. Like, yes, there is a character in there that like you have the stepbrother one, which is not great, but it's also not like you grew up with him as your stepbrother. You've had him only for about a year and you do not like each other. You have, again, the 7-year gap one, which is a little eh. There is one where the person starts off as in the body of a child. But I don't want to, I cannot remember if that one actually has any flirting that happens in it, but I don't think that one, perpetuates, like, pedophilia. But just some fair warning about some of them. There's also one where a man is in a dress. So, yeah, again, like, some minor problematic things, but I never think of it to the point where it's like, oh, this is bad. Again, the worst one is Rumpel, just because he's a terrible flirt and I don't like the way he talks to the character and just, ugh. Anyway. But yes, here we go. It's almost 3 months have passed since I was first cursed, but I've yet to complete my first good deed. These are my thoughts as I head back to my sleeping quarters after dinner that night. Evangeline excused me long ago, insisting that I go on to my own room before she went to hers. I'm walking down the hallway when I notice Rod heading down a familiar path. I follow after him. Are you going to the march-in? They gasp. Rod jumps and turns around. The surprise in his face quickly fades into annoyance. Don't do that again. And no, not today. Since I came here, I found out that Rod occasionally sneaks out of the palace at night through secret passageways to go to the march-in. Even now, I'm still confused as to why he goes there. He said before that he had to give up on breaking his curse, which makes me wonder why he still visits. It also makes me wonder why he would refuse to break his curse in the first place. Is he okay being the way that he is, or is his curse really just difficult to break? Why are you cursed, Rod? I'm not answering that question. Why? I cannot help you break your curse if you refuse to tell me anything. I told you before that I do not need your help. But I chose you as my partner. You help me, and I help you. It is highly unlikely that breaking Rob's curse will also count for a good deed. Rod scowls at me and crosses his arms. I'm afraid that isn't how this works at all. The sound of footsteps keeps me from coming back with a retort. We both turn to see Sir Alistair approaching us. Prince Rod, good evening. Good evening, Sir Alistair. Sir Alistair turns to me and raises an eyebrow. Shouldn't you be attending to Princess Evangeline? Rod silences me with a look. He moves to stand in front of me, shielding me from Sir Alistair's gaze. We were just about to go to her. Let's go, Lucette. Rod strides away, and I quickly curtsy to Sir Alistair before following after Rod. I can still feel Sir Alistair's eyes on my back as I walk away. I try my best to suppress a shudder. Rod and I walk through the hallway in silence. We both stop in our tracks when we hear the clattering of silverware. I look around and realize the sound has come from behind a set of doors that is slightly open. The dining hall. Oh no! That's Evangeline's voice. We do not see Evangeline when we enter the room, but there is a dizzying array of cutlery set out on the table. Evangeline? Evangeline surprises us both by crawling out from beneath the table. She flashes us an embarrassed smile as she gets to her feet, holding several forks and knives in her hand. What are you doing here? You should be getting ready for bed. Sorry. I eye the silverware on the table. I thought I could practice before I sleep today. It's already been an incredibly long day for her, and she's still doing this? I watch as Evangeline puts the cutlery back onto the table in the wrong places. You need to rest, Em. I will after I practice the placement one last time. She smiles at him before returning to the table. I don't know why a person would need so many cutlery. 1 fork, 1 spoon, 1 knife should be more than enough for any meal. And all these glasses. If I recall correctly, this one's for water, this one's for red wine, and this one... is for white wine. Ooh. So let's see. A part of me feels like pointing out her mistake is the right way to do it because I want to correct her. But she won't learn that way. God. Ah! Give her the correct answers? Oh, I feel like my gut tells me to point out her mistake so that she can learn from it, but giving her the correct answer is like the nice thing to do. That flute is for champagne. The other is for sherry. Oh, right. But there are two more. The other is for juice, and the other glass is for dessert wine. The dessert wine glass will only be used during the dessert course. And the juice glass is only used when juice is being served as a course. Otherwise, it's placed next to the water goblet. I see. I see Rod staring at me out of the corner of his eyes. His lips twitch before he turns back to his sister. It looked like he was about to smile. Right, this is why we save and then choose. Oh, we did it! We picked the right one. Then what's this for? Evangeline points to the group of forks in front of her. You use those every day, Your Highness. You should know the answer. Evangeline points at them as she rattles off names. Dinner fork, fish fork, salad. Correct. You know so much about etiquette, too. You're really incredible, Lucette. You made a better noblewoman than I do. Oh, we know, girl. Oh, I know. Even if I told her I was noble, it's not as if she would believe me. Sorry, I have to pause real quick. Because I'm looking at my stitches, and I'm trying to make sure I didn't goof on a stitch earlier, but I might have. It's very hard to try and explain, but if I look at my stitches, you can usually tell like where I did a single and when I did a double. And I think in 2 rows I did. I just did a bunch of single crochets in one. Oh, did I though? Ooh. I think I did. It's so hard to tell sometimes. Oh, do I have to go back? Yeah. Okay. Whoops. I have to go all the way back. Let's put this. Where did I find it? There it is. I have to undo this whole row and then go to the end of the last row. Oh no. I have to undo this whole row and undo most of the other row underneath it. Yep. Oh no. Just, welp. It happens sometimes. The amount of times I've had to... this blanket was originally something else. And then I just could not do the stitching. I was like, I can't do it. I don't get it, so I have to just restart it. So yeah, have to redo this whole row, which, that checks out. I'm playing a game, and, focusing on talking to you guys as well, which is not a bad thing. I love talking to you guys. Hey Jill, that might be it. I don't know. It's been a minute since I've played this game again, but I feel like that might be on the right track as far as like how to break Rod's curse. But yeah. Oh yeah, undoing rows, especially like 3 whole rows, and just it's thankfully, that's the other thing about this. Like, you can't be disheartened by having to tear away your rows and, like, start over again. Thankfully, I caught it, like, yes, I had to go back 2 whole rows, essentially. But it's not like, you know, when you've been crocheting for a while and you start to notice that your whole thing is, like, either getting too small or too big. Right, because of the whole Victoria thing. Yes. Oh, I can't wait. I've also seen the bad end for this. Some of the bad ends for these characters. Like, by the way, if you get a bad end, the guy dies. I think. Maybe not. But Rod's one is devastating to get the bad end for him. It's real bad. Like, I almost... Right? Yeah, it's because of Victoria. Like, I might go through the game just doing, like, we'll go through it like this, and that way you can all enjoy the great, wonderful, good endings, and we can have a good time here. But I think I might go through the route again, choosing the bad one so we can get to the end, since we already know pretty much how the end is supposed to be, or how the ending is supposed to be, and then watch you guys watch the bad end, because it'll break your heart. Anyway, I just read a lot about these things. You read and know enough to put them into practice? That's amazing. Especially since you haven't been with us so long, right, Rod? Rod shrugs. He does not, much to my surprise, disagree. Perhaps you should be my teacher, Lucette. I could learn so quickly from you. Evangeline quickly straightens out the cutlery. Yes, Jill, I wish to break your heart. Not that I think about it, but I've come to realize that Evangeline is much more than she appeared to be. It's probably because I'm forced to spend so much time with her as her maid. She's different. She is flawed, and not as conceited and more humble than I had originally thought. Maybe I should try lending her a hand. I might not be one of your tutors, but if you need help with your lessons, just ask me and I'll do what I can for you. Lucette. I glance at Rod, who is once again wearing that expression of surprise. I shift my attention to Evangeline once again. You only have 1 month left to prepare, and as your personal maid, I feel it my responsibility to help you in whatever ways I can. Lucette. Evangeline wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. That's when I notice something glistening on her cheek. Aww. Also, I love Evangeline. She's adorable. Is she crying? You're extremely kind, Lucette. Thank you. I will definitely take you up on that offer. I'm still looking at Evangeline when I catch a faint glow coming from the pendant on my chest. Whoosh! They gasp. She did a nice thing. What just happened? Oh, what a pretty necklace you have, Lucette. Everyone else is just like, oh, la da da. It's a pretty necklace. Thank you. Anyway, for now, I think both of us would benefit from some sleep. After escorting Evangeline back to her room, I walk out into the hallway in a daze. Because, Steph, because it's so easy. What was that light? It seems like you actually managed to obtain your first good deed. I gasp. I did not know he was still there. Or still here, excuse me. I look down at my pendant, astonished at what I see. Yay, first good deed. A piece of the glass slipper. Oh, right. I gingerly touch the new piece that is hanging next to my existing glass slipper pendant. It is real. You're not too bad after all. Did he just compliment me? What? Rod turns away. Nothing. He walks away, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Oh yeah, we love us a Grumpus and a Sunshine Child. Chapter 5. I forget how many chapters there are in each route.
Good morning, Your Highness. Would you like to play with us? You want to play with me? Yeah, come play with us. We'll have lots of fun. Well, please, just for a little while. Maybe I can.
Lucette, what are you doing here in front of the gates?
Mother. Good morning, Your Majesty. We were just wondering if the princess wanted to come and play with us.
No, Princess Lucette does not want to play with you.
But Mother, I do.
Enough idle chatter. We must go. It's almost time for your dance lessons.
But...
Lucette, do not make me repeat myself.
Yes, Mother.
It is still dawn when I wake up. As much as I want to continue sleeping, I have no choice but to get up and prepare for the day. The last thing I need is an annoying lecture from the head maid. I have almost become accustomed to waking up this early, even if I do not enjoy it. As soon as my preparations are made, I begin to make my way towards the Evangeline's room, should she wake early. I'm about halfway there when I hear familiar voices. Standing far ahead of me are Sir Alistair and Sir Mithros. Are you sure this is going to work? Have a little faith in me, my friend. Evil, evil, evil. Friends? We are not friends. Sir Alistair narrows his eyes, then turns abruptly to look at me. Ah, Miss Lucette, was it? Sir Mithros, Sir Alacaster. Have you been eavesdropping, child? He has no reason to be angry at me. If they were talking about something confidential, they should have not been openly talking about it in the hallway. Right? Evil Villain Lesson 101. I'm on my way to Princess Evangeline's room, sir. That is why I am here. I coolly look at Sir Alistair, who looks like he's about to pop a vein. I cannot help but feel satisfied at his reaction. In just a few steps, he is suddenly looming over me. I've never seen Sir Alistair look so angry before. What is going on? Rod is now walking towards us with a scowl on his face. Sir Alacaster notices this and quickly steps back. There was just a little misunderstanding, Your Highness. Rod glances at me, his eyes narrowing. Great, I'm sure he's going to blame me for this too, even though I did nothing. Much to my surprise, Sir Rod puts himself between me and Sir Alacaster. Are you all right, Lucette? He's worried about me. I slowly nod. Ron turns back to Sir Alacaster and Sir Mithros. If you don't have any business with Lucette, I'll be taking her with me. Evangeline is already waiting for her. Sir Alacaster stares at me for a few moments before bowing to Rod. Of course, Your Highness. Thank you. Rod turns to me again, his expression solemn. Shall we? He walks off before waiting for my reply. I look back at Sir Alacaster and Sir Mithras one last time before chasing after him. He caught the feelings. Ooh, he caught the feelings like a fastball special. Also, yes, like, I enjoy a good character that, so in the case of Lucette, as we find out more and more through this series, her mother is terrible. Her mother treats her like, essentially just like a vessel for herself. Tries to teach her pretty much bad, terrible gaslighty things. So, like, when you think about Lucette and how much she really changes in, like, the next couple of months, it's wild. So, like, you're like, oh no, she knows she can be good, but her mother brainwashed her so much to become this, like, cold, unfeeling person. And in one route, it gets really pushed down. Again, I'm trying not to, like, spoil too much. I played this game 3 times, but, like, I still remember, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to get to that part, because the feelings. Anyway. Boop. The both of us spend the next few minutes walking in silence. Rod has not said a thing since my encounter with Sir Mithras and Sir Alacaster. Are you okay? What? He already asked me that before. Is he really that worried? And we save. I'm fine. I'm surprised by the look on Rod's face at my response. His expression is soft, so unlike his usual scowl. Rod here's pretty worried about you, princess. Oh, Sebby, hey! Oh, I love these characters that are just like, nope, let's look into your heart of hearts. Rod glares at Sebby, his cheeks tinge pink. Sebby chuckles. Sorry, Rod, your thoughts ring so loudly in your mind that I can't help but say them out loud. This is not the first time Sebby has told me about what Rod is thinking. Rod reaches out and pinches Sebby's face, his scowl returning. Ow, 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 I'm sorry. Okay, but next time try not to think too loudly. You said that Evangeline was waiting for me. I didn't expect her to be up so early. Where is she? I lied. What? You lied to help me out of that situation? Oh, girl. Why? Are you helping me? Because while you're here, you're my responsibility. I may loathe the role, but I will still uphold it. Y'all can't see my face, but I'm making a face. Besides, you don't need a reason to help someone in need. Right? Help someone in need. Get you a Sebby. I remember Parfait and Delora telling me before that being good often involved helping others who are in need. Now that I've helped you, I'll be taking my leave now. I have fencing lessons to attend. Rod starts to walk off and then stops and turns back to me. Don't get yourself into more trouble. I won't be there all the time to save you. I glared at him and crossed my arms. I'm not some damsel in distress, Your Highness. I do not need your help. Rod snorts before turning away from me and walking away. Later that day, I watch Evangeline finish her etiquette lessons. I can tell that the teacher is impressed with her progress. Everyone wants a Nikki cam. I don't... Evangeline is able to correctly name all the glasses and cutlery. She's not so slow a learner. I had come here earlier in the day to better teach Evangeline about proper dining etiquette. It turns out that my lesson was valuable. You have shown great improvement, Your Highness. I'm glad that you have been diligent with your studies. No doubt you'll be ready for the ball soon. Evangeline smiles, her cheeks turn pink. Thank you. I wouldn't have done it without the help of a friend. Oh, I love it. Evangeline glances at me briefly and smiles gently. I really owe her a lot. That's wonderful. I'm so glad you have such a dedicated friend, Your Highness. Friend? Is that really what I am to her? But princesses do not have maids as friends. A royal does not mingle with commoners, especially not the servants. Mother told me that before. And I'm finding out your mom is wrong. Evangeline does not treat me as a maid, but she cannot possibly think of me as a friend. After the teacher leaves, Evangeline gives Evangeline several books to study for the next lesson. She ends the lesson and excuses herself. Evangeline approaches me and grasps my hand. I love the shipping going on in the chat. Thank you so much, Lucette. I wouldn't have passed without your help. All I did was repeat the things your teacher taught you. But you're different. I raise an eyebrow at her. Different? I tend to get nervous in my lessons. My teachers are strict and intimidating. I cave beneath the pressure. But with you, well, I feel more comfortable around you. It's probably because we're almost the same age and your lessons feel more casual. I feel comfortable around you. Just enjoy this stuff. So, thank you. I'm very grateful to you. She looks down at the ground shyly. I hope it's alright that we're friends. Just gals being pals. I furrow my eyebrows at her. Why would you even want to be friends with a maid? You're supposed to make friends with nobles, not the servants. Evangeline frowns. I can feel her deflate. She walks towards the windows and sighs. I tried. They may not say anything, but I can feel them silently judging me. I wasn't born a princess, and I feel that they judge everything that I do. I wonder who that sounds like. They think that I smile too much, that I'm not regal enough. They feel I'm too clumsy or too cheerful. Well, Evangeline definitely does not act like a noble. I cannot say I blame the nobles for being skeptical of her. Sorry, pausing real quick because I feel like I made a mistake again. I can't find it. Ugh. Oh my god. Where did I make a mistake? Where? Where is it? Where is it? Could not have been that far back. Wow. Was I doing it just opposite this entire time? No. Did I find it? And they were so... Yes, Jill, make us wear the soul... No, actually, we could put... And they were soulmates eventually on here. We need to unlock a few more slots, that's all. Eventually. One day we'll get there. Let's see. That's not right either. No. Oh my god. No. Dang it. Did I mess up down there too? Sorry everybody. I'm just like looking at my work, just like where did I go wrong? How did we get here? Okay, but that's right. No, go get ready for bed. Thanks for hanging out with us, Steph, and I'm excited to hear how you enjoy the game through your playthroughs. That'll be really exciting for me. Okay. I'm just gonna get through this real quick before I start playing the game again because I want to make sure that I don't mess anything up. Yes! Send me the disco updates. Love it. So hyped. Love you, Steph. Talk to you later. Let's see. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to get to the end of this row because I feel like I keep messing up and I don't know where it messes up. And that might just mean that I've... what that could mean is I missed a stitch, which, one, I don't know how I would miss a stitch, but two, oh god, if that means I have to go back another row, that would be agonizing. I would cry. You guys wouldn't be able to see it, but you would know I would cry. Why? Why? This is wrong. Yeah, no, that's wrong. Huh. Do I have to go back a whole row? I might have to. Alright. I guess I have to go back like 2 rows. So, we'll just, we'll do this, and here, you guys can watch the torture of me pulling this out. Well, Evangeline definitely does not act like a noble. I cannot say I blame the nobles for being skeptical of her. Being with them suffocates me. I do my best to act like a princess, but the way they look at me... It's as if they're waiting for me to make a mistake. Then they'll all have an excuse to jeer at me. Every girl dreams of being a princess, and yet this is not my dream. I really just miss being a normal girl. I miss my freedom. I look at her, thoughtful. I think I can understand what Evangeline is feeling. Just like me, she was thrown into a world she was not ready to be a part of. Right now, we have no choice but to fit in. She never wanted my title in the first place, yet I accused her of stealing it. Have you told your mother how you feel? Evangeline shakes her head. No, not the king either. I don't want them to think that I'm ungrateful. That's why I'm trying my best to become accustomed to all of this. I cross my arms. But you're not happy. I'm not. Everyone just assumes that I'm happy because I smile a lot. She barely opens up to anyone, and yet she opened up to me. Have I been given the choice before I was cursed, I would never have listened to her. You should tell them how you feel rather than just keep it to yourself. Otherwise, the stress will continue to accumulate on your shoulders. I wish I could be more honest with them. I really do. I envy you for being able to speak your mind. She envies me. Evangeline takes a breath and sighs. The frown fades with the sigh and is quickly replaced by a fragile smile. I'm sorry for ranting to you like that. I must have bored you with my story. I used to get so annoyed with her, but now that I've seen this side of her, I suppose she's not as terrible as I first thought. Right? Besties for life. Oh, I remember that mother wanted to see me after my lessons today. Allow me to escort you to the Queen, then.
Thank you.
Days passed without any real conflict. I run into Sir Alacaster again in the hallways, but his eyes pass over me as if I'm something to be ignored. Delora, who had been ignoring me as she had been busy with other priorities, returned to the Marchen yesterday to discuss something important with Parfait. It's not as if she's been any help since she came here. She mostly stayed in my room while I was running around doing errands for Evangeline and taking on other chores as they were handed to me. Right now, I am headed to the palace gates as I hurry to meet Evangeline. She's going out into town to meet Victoria again, and I was told to meet her there. Prince Lucette! I turn around to see Fritz walking in my direction. Ever since I told him to refer to me as my name, he has been stumbling over not using my title. Aw, poor baby. I rarely see him, but when I do, we don't have much time to discuss anything. Can I help you with anything, Fritz? I do miss Delora and Parfait. It's been a while. Have you managed to complete one of your good deeds? Days after I had originally run into Fritz, I managed to have a quick conversation with him regarding my curse. It's been a long time since that conversation happened. Recently, I've barely seen Fritz. I heard rumors that he'd been reassigned somewhere outside the palace. I show him my pendant and point to the piece of the second glass slipper. I managed to get one several days ago. Lucette, that's wonderful. I knew that you could get one. Only 2 more and then I can break this curse. Fritz, Miss Lucette, I did not think the 2 of you were acquainted. We both turn our heads at the same time when Mithros suddenly appears from around the corner, the usual smile on his lips. Yeah, Jill, play and you'll find out. Sir Mithros. Fritz, I believe Sir Alacaster is looking for you. Right, sorry. Lucette. I must take my leave now. Of course. Fritz bows to Mithros for working off, leaving me alone with Sir Mithros. Don't like him, he's evil. Mithros does not say anything, but continues to smile at me. His stare makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. As it should, because he's bad. Is there something on my face? Excuse me. I curtsy and start to walk off when Sir Mithros calls my name. Lucette. Yes? I just wanted to thank you for your hard work and dedication to our princess. I look at him, puzzled by his sudden gratitude. Don't worry. Everything will soon be remedied. Excuse me? My apologies. I did not mean to keep you. He completely ignores my question. He tips his head slightly before turning and walking away, the smile still on his face. Jill, you're playing it right now? You're playing Karma's storyline? Why are you watching me play then? Because, girl, go play Karma's storyline! Eventually we'll get to Karma's in this one. I think I'll probably play Karma after this one. I love Karma. Karma's like, is similar to Rumple, but without, the terrible flirting. Like, still some flirting, but not nearly as bad. Jesus Christ, it's bad. And Rumple's blah. Anyway. Boop. Ah, I'm so excited. What was all that about? Rod and Evangeline are already waiting for me outside the carriage by the time I arrive at the palace gates. Oh, I'm so happy you started a few weeks ago. Rod has his arms crossed and looks at me irritable. His face is perpetually stuck in that scowl, it seems. You are late. My apologies. You're so grumpy, but you've been late many times before too, Rod. I do enjoy the commentary. Rod just shrugs his shoulders as he turns and heads into the carriage. Evangeline sighs before looking at me. Shall we? Of course. The three of us sit in silence as the carriage rolled towards town. The knights assigned to the guard duty is sitting in front of the driver, watching for any disturbances. Evangeline glances forlorn out one window while Rod silently looks out the other as he rests his chin on the palm of his hand. Why are these siblings so grumpy? I notice Evangeline pause to glance at Rod every now and then, looking restless. Finally, she breaks the silence. Oh my god, no, Jill. No. No. I mean, cool. I'm glad that they have my inflections put on them. Yeah, a little higher pitched. And I usually try to do a lower pitch for the dudes. And then Lucettes' mom is always like evil queen voice type of deal. Are you still mad that I asked you to come along to visit Victoria? Ooh, back to Victoria again. You could have declined the invitation, Rod. And if you would only tell me what happened between the two of you, I would do my best to remedy the situation. Rod notices me looking at him and scowls. He returns his moody gaze to the window. Thank you. I have nothing to say, Em. I've practiced the evil queen voice. But you used to be good friends with Victoria too, Rod. But then ever since you were... Evangeline stops herself, and I know that she's referring to his curse. After that day, you kept your distance from her. Then, when you found out about the wedding, you became even colder towards her. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, my oh my. Even Victoria's worried about you, Rod. She worries that you might have offended you somehow. Evangeline. There's a hint of warning in his tone. Is it possible that Victoria is related to Rod's curse, considering the timing? Evangeline opens her mouth again to say something, but then suddenly stops, returning to the window, her expression mirroring Rod's own gloom. Aw, siblings fighting to help each other. We're all silent until we arrived at the toy shop. Evangeline, good to see you again, and you too. Lucette, was it? I nod in acknowledgement. Viorica. Okay, so by the way, I've been saying it wrong, and I keep saying it wrong because the letters are there. Her name's not Victoria, it's Viorica, which I don't know if like it's intentionally meant to be Viorica and they don't want to do Victoria, but I have to remind myself that it's not Victoria, it's Viorica. Anyway. She nods politely at the knights who stand guard at the shop door. It's just the two of you today. Gasp. Evangeline and I both turn only to see that Rod has indeed vanished. Evangeline frowns, looking both bewildered and disappointed. He was right behind us. I'll go look for him. Thank you, Lucette. Yeah, exactly. Just as I expected, Rod is leaning against the wall of an alley just outside the toy shop. Did we do this already? Guess we're doing it again. Now, stay with him or talk to him. I feel like stay with him and not pry is the better option. He doesn't like it when we pry about his curse, so. I can tell Rod's stiff posture that anything I say to him will fall on deaf ears, so I move to stand next to him instead. I lean against the wall with him. We did do that before. I feel like this is deja vu. He likes alleyways. What are you doing? Keeping you company? Rod raises an eyebrow at me. Since when have you even liked my company? Well, I'd rather be here than stay inside the toy shop and listen to Evangeline and Viorica talk. So you're not here to try and get me to talk? Well, it's not as if you answer any of my questions. I have tried forcing you to talk and know how ineffective it is. But I will be here if you do want to talk. Rod eyes me suspiciously. Since when did you start listening to others? When you are the personal maid of someone who enjoys talking, you learn to listen. Evangeline has been happier these past few months. I hate to admit it, but it seems to be because of you. Are you actually praising me? Gasp. Rod looks away, his cheeks tinged pink. Aw. Think whatever you like. I do not know why, but for some reason I'm happy that Rod gave me a compliment. Why does my heart go doki doki? Princess Lucette! Rod and I turn at the sound of the familiar voice. Waltz pauses in front of us with a bright smile. It's nice to see you again, Princess. Waltz, what are you doing here? Well, I was about to deliver a letter to the prince, but I guess that won't be necessary anymore. A letter? Is Lady Parfait asking for me? Not just you. She wants to see the princess as well. Me? It has been a while since I was last at the Marchen. Is something wrong? They need to discuss something important with the princess. Come to the Marchen tonight. Tonight? But we're already here, so why not now? Walt's eyes shift to our carriage. You're here with Princess Evangeline, yes? You can't make her wait too long. What they need to discuss with you is complicated and it will take some time to explain. The toy shop door opens and Evangeline stands in the doorway as she says her goodbyes to Viorica. Remember, tonight. These are Waltz's last words before he slips back into the crowd. Evangeline visits with Viorica was briefer than I thought it would be. Now all of us are headed back to the palace. Rod has not uttered a word on our way back. I can tell that this is making Evangeline agitated as she continues to keep glancing at Rod expectantly. If you have something to say, say it. Gasp. Evangeline stares at me. You obviously want to say something to Prince Rod. The only way to get your answer is to ask him directly. Rod does not turn around. It's as if he does not hear me. Evangeline claps her hands and sighs. Well, I glance at Rod, who is still persistently staring out the window, his eyes focused on nothing. He is pretending not to hear us. How immature. Rod. Viorica was sad that you weren't there today. She was certain that you stayed outside to avoid seeing her. What are you going on? What's going on with you? I'm not in the mood to answer your questions, Em. Evangeline grips the edges of her dress. Her expression becomes more rigid. You've been keeping secrets from us ever since you were cursed. We don't even know why you were cursed or how to help you break it. Wait, the rest of the family doesn't know anything about the circumstances of Rod's curse? I had thought that he told them everything, but all they know is that he's cursed. We're a family. We're supposed to help each other through problems. Evangeline's hands are shaking as she gazes at her brother. The carriage stops as soon as the servants open the door. Evangeline quickly steps out and rushes back towards the palace. Rod watches her go quietly, though his eyebrows are furrowed and he looks guilty. I silently shake my head at him before running after Evangeline. Evangeline stands in the hallway with her hands on her chest. She breathes slowly in and out as if she's on the verge of tears. When she notices me behind her, she turns away and wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. I'm sorry for storming off like that. I was just very frustrated at Rod. I said something I shouldn't have said back there. If anyone finds out about this, they won't. Your secret is safe with me. Evangeline flashes me a grateful smile before looking at the sky. One moment Rod is running down the hallway. The next he has stopped in front of us and is trying to catch his breath. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too, Rod, but right now I would like to be alone. Of course. I'm sorry, Lucette, but could you leave me for now? She doesn't even wait for my answer before walking away, leaving me alone with Rod. You made her cry, Rod. I'm fully aware of that. Why are you hiding your curse from your family? You wouldn't understand. I'm doing this to protect them. Protect them? Rod silently shakes his head. They wouldn't understand. Those are the last ominous words Rod repeats before rushing off, leaving me alone in the hallway. What happened to him? The hallways are silent this time of night, as most everyone in the palace prepares for bed. I'm now on my way to our meeting place. Rod told me earlier to wait for him here. I had thought that he would make me go to the marching by myself after what transpired with Evangeline, but I was wrong. Evangeline was so upset today. I'd never seen her like this before. Sorry, taking a quick break to drink some water and pop my back because... Ooh, yep, it's, well, I also think this camera angle is very good for you guys to finally see me do all my beautiful, amazing crochet work. It is not very good for my back because I don't have a way to, like, really support the camera, like, towards me so that I can, like... what's the word I'm going to use here? Get comfortable while I crochet. Like, I have to, like, stick my arms out, and that's not how I normally do that. So I want to, like, always tug my hands back. Because I just want to lean back in the chair. Because, again, 3rd trimester pregnancy. Very, not a whole lot of room for me to lean forward with. So... Actually, hold on. I'm gonna change the scene real quick. We're gonna go to the break screen for just a moment. I'm gonna fix my camera and then we'll be right back. So, one sec. we go. Now you can see my pretty face and get all of my pretty reactions for the next 15 or so minutes as we do this. Yeah. I'll probably keep it like this for now just because it's a little easier on my back. My back, my front, my sides, pretty much everything while I'm building the person, but also trying to crochet for y'all. So let's get back to it. Evangeline was so upset today. I've never seen her like this before. I turned my thoughts back to the merchant and to what Walt said earlier. I wonder what Parfait wants to talk to us about. I feel my heart beating erratically against my chest. Why do I feel like something bad is going to happen? I realize that I've been standing in the open for a while. Perhaps I should move. People might find my standing here suspicious. I start walking again, and I'm surprised when I feel a hand close around my wrist and pull me into the darkness. I open my mouth, but a hand muffles my scream. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, shh. Rod? Rod's gaze is icy. He speaks quietly, but I can feel the anger simmering underneath his words. What if someone saw you just standing there? Have you even thought about how they might get suspicious? I gasp. His tone is so accusatory for a moment, I cannot find my voice. But then, he is right. I should have been more careful. Sorry. Rod stares at me, surprised. What? I never thought I'd hear you apologize, especially to me. Oh, well, at least I know how to apologize, unlike you. And why would I ever have a reason to apologize to you? Because you've done nothing but treat me coldly, even when I have done nothing to personally attack you. Rod scowls at me, but does not say anything. Instead, he sighs and takes my hand, pulling me after him. He took her hand. Ah! We have a picture. Oh, what? Let's go before the guards see us. I have no energy to argue with Rod, so I allow him to pull me along. I'm sorry. What? He apologized to me? Don't make me repeat myself. I didn't hear you clearly. If there's one thing I know about you, it's that you're not deaf. Of course I'm not. Shh, someone will hear you. I glare at Rod, but he does not respond.
Princess, your hand is really warm.
Rod freezes in place and glares at Sebi, who seems to be shrugging.
Your thoughts are too loud, Rod.
Through the dim lights, I can actually see a faint blush on Rod's cheeks. You are blushing. They gasp. I'm not. He lets go of my hand and starts to walk towards a secret passage with me trailing behind him. We look around to make sure no one is in sight before we both slip inside. I follow closely behind Rod in silence. My eyes move upward to the little bunny plush hanging on his shoulder. Sebi, I've been wondering. Have you ever talked with Rod's family as yourself? Rod suddenly stops and scowls over his shoulder at me. What? I'm asking Sebi, not you.
No, I don't, Princess. Rod doesn't want me to talk to others since he thinks that I might say something unnecessary.
So much for that. You will speak even when it is unnecessary. In the dim light of the tunnel, I think I can see a faint pink on Rod's cheeks, but it's probably a trick of the strange light. Rod is right. Sebby has blurted out his thoughts more than a number of times. What do you mean by that?
Well, there are thoughts that he prefers to keep to himself, like his thoughts on karma and his feminine voice, or his...
Rod suddenly clamps Sebby's face and can actually see the poor blush struggling to get away from his hold. You are crushing the poor toy. Rod glares at me before finally releasing Sebby.
Rod can be so brutal at times. I remember the time he almost threw me out the window for saying that one lady had a hideous dress.
Rod glares at Sebby once again. He readies his finger to pinch him again, but Sebby hurriedly apologizes before Rod can touch him.
Okay, I'll stop talking now.
Rod sighs and continues walking. Rod, have you spoken with Evangeline since that earlier incident? No. As much as I want to ask him again about his curse, I doubt that he will divulge anything right now. I decide to keep my thoughts to myself as we head for the march-in. Alright, hold on. Before we get there, we obviously got it wrong. You're not doing a very good job. Right? Sebby is so sweet. I love him. Sebby sighs.
How can I not when Rod here is thinking too loudly? It makes my head ache.
You get headaches?
That's not the point. The point is that when he thinks on something too loud, it just becomes cloudy and really full, like it's going to explode. That's why I get to explain for him. He's not good at expressing his thoughts, so I...
Rod cut Sebby off by pinching his cheeks.
Ow, 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 ow. Okay, I'll stop talking now.
Rod sighs and continues walking. Rod, have you spoken to Evangeline about the incident today? No. As much as I want to ask him again about his curse, I doubt he will divulge anything right now. I decide to keep my thoughts to myself as we head to the march-in. When we arrive at the march-in, Parfait and Delora are there to welcome us. The others, however, are nowhere in sight. My two favorite housewives! Ah, it's been a while. It's been a while, Princess. Thank you for bringing her here safely, Prince Rod. Where is everyone? They're all resting in their rooms now. It wasn't necessary that they be here for what Delora and I wanted to discuss with you. I'll be staying in the tavern then. Rod's about to head to the tavern when Delora stops him. You don't have to leave. What we're going to say involves you too, since you're staying at the palace as well. Rod looks at her curiously, but asks no questions. Parfait and Delora gesture us over to the settee, where we all take our seats. This is something Rod and I must know because we're in the palace? I have a bad feeling about this. Before we start, I would like to congratulate you on your first good deed, Princess. Delora told me all about it, and I can see the extra piece on your necklace as well. Parfait smiles at me, her eyes fill with pride. Her faith in me rekindles the dwindling confidence I had. If only you'd seen how happy Delora was when she announced it to us. You didn't have to go into specifics, Parfait. Oh, are you embarrassed, Delora? Look at these wives. She smiles at Delora teasingly before turning back to me. Anyway, I know you can do it, Princess. Only 2 more to go and you can break your curse. Yeah, keep up the good work, Princess, and you too, Rod. So, what is it that you wanted to discuss with us? conducted a little investigation while I was with Lucette in the palace. I found something interesting. Something interesting. I discovered that there is a witch in the palace. Les gasp. A witch? In the palace? I felt a twinge of magic while I was there. It was faint, but definitely there. I don't remember feeling it before when I was there as your doll, Princess. It seemed that the witch is using a glamour to hide himself or herself from us. A glamour is a magic that only very experienced witches can cast, which means the witch we are dealing with is no ordinary witch. They have the potential to be very powerful. But why would a witch be doing in the palace in the first place? The witch could be after the king, but what? Parfait and Delora glanced at each other, looking conflicted. It is Parfait who faces me first, her expression grave. I am afraid there is some other possibility we must make you aware of, Princess. And in order for us to explain, we must give you the truth. Yeah, Delora trying to be cool, but Parfait's just like, the truth, my only answer is silence. I shift my gaze to Rod, but he avoids my eyes. What's going on? Princess, it is very likely that the witch in the palace is looking for you. What? I cast a glamour on you long ago so that you could remain hidden from magical eyes. I did it to protect you, but this witch in question can see through the spell I've cast on you. It is my belief that they are actively looking for you. I close my eyes and massage the temples of my head as I feel a headache coming on. Wait, you said before that the witches want to see their curses unbroken, but this sounds as if they have another motive altogether. What reason could they have for trailing me? The Tenebrarum has been without a bearer for a long time, ever since the end of the war. A new bearer, however, will soon rise, and the crystal is ready to support them. Some of the witches, the wicked ones, want to make sure that the Tenebrarum continues to spread darkness, even with the new bearer in charge. Okay, but what does that have to do with me? Delora crosses her arms, her expression grim. The title of the bearer is passed down from one descendant to the next. Princess, the last Tenebrarum bearer was the late Queen of Angela, your mother. I feel my blood go cold. What? As you are the Queen's daughter, you are the next heir. Come your 18th birthday, you will inherit the title of Tenebrarum bearer. I will never be able to pronounce it correctly. Mother? A witch? Impossible! Why would you spout such lies? I narrow my eyes at them, searching for some hint that they are lying to me. Delora and Parfait never turn their sad eyes away from me. Rod glances at me briefly before turning away, looking uncomfortable. Hildur, your mother and I used to work together to maintain balance, but when the witch hunt drove her mad and turned her heart to ice. But she never used any magic. I would have known if she was a witch. It's possible that you did in the past, but then it seems she erased all your memories of her true identity. Delora was already able to ascertain that most of your memories of her have been snatched away. Hildur needed you to remain obedient, so when you finally did inherit her role as the bearer, you would continue to do as she wanted. My thoughts feel as if they are spinning endlessly on an axis. The real reason I cursed you was to see if you were truly capable of goodness, Princess. Hilda's influence clung to you even after her death, and we feared that you would continue her previous work. That Angela might once again fall to darkness if you were not able to help the dark emotions in your heart. So when you cursed me because you were terrified of what I would do if I became the bearer as I was, my only answer is silence. Now I understand why the people hated me. It was because I am my mother's daughter. Oh yeah. Her mom is super bad. Her mom is super duper real bad. Like, holy crap, she is manipulative as fuck. Alright. I cannot help but reach out to touch the pendant on my necklace, and the feeling of dread washes over me. We know there is goodness in you, Princess. We only wanted you to realize it by breaking your curse. Parfait sighs, looking guilty. It was selfish to act on our part, I know. But we could not risk another great war. They believed that I would have plunged the world into a war. I turned to Rod, who has yet to speak since the conversation started. Did you know about all of this? Everyone knows the story of the Terrabum witch and her daughter. Thank you, Jill, for thinking the blanket looks great. I feel like I've had to start row after row over and over again because of all of this, but it does look pretty good. Also, little Maya is practicing her tap dancing, so real proud of her. Real proud. Either tap dancing or soccer. Like, she's a kicker. She's a kicker. Everyone except for me. I glanced down at my hand, suddenly feeling numb. Not just Rod. I'm a witch. Not just Rod. Rod knew. The queen, the new queen, his mom knew. His sister knew. The whole town knew that the first queen was a witch, and that she is the daughter of that witch. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Except Lucette, because her mother erased her memories. Shitty Mom 101. And I will become the Tenerum's next bearer. Just the thought of it makes me sick. I think back to my childhood. I can recall the glares that everyone gave me when I was a child. They were scared of me because I was my mother's daughter. And what about the king? Did he ever love me? Did he never love me because I was the daughter of a witch? But if that's the case, if my mother was so wicked, then why did the king marry her in the first place? Hilda threatened to kill the woman that he loved if he did not marry her. She threatened to kill Ophelia. Dun dun dun! Ophelia? So the king has loved Ophelia from the very beginning. I clenched my hands into tight fists. After Mother died, he was able to reunite with his true love, and since then he has treated Evangeline and Rod better than he ever treated me, even though I am his daughter by blood. I want to feel angry about the revelation, but instead I feel a dreary emptiness inside of me. A heavy feeling begins to settle in my chest, suffocating my heart. The twists keep coming. He never really loved me. This is why you have to play through all of the routes, even if you don't like some of them, because they keep adding layer on top of layer on top of layer about like all of the lore here. It's such good storytelling. Love it. Rod's voice snaps me out of my thoughts, and that's when I realize that a stray tear has made it down my cheek. I quickly wipe it away with the back of my hand, angry at myself for showing weakness in front of them. You must be happy to see me like this. What? Your mother was made queen and you and your sister became royals overnight. It's like something out of a fairy tale, isn't it? You thought you had the perfect life until I came back into it. I never asked for this to happen. I just wanted to... Rod suddenly moves his hand to Sebby's mouth, muffling whatever other words the plush was going to say for him. Oh, say it, Sebby, just say it. What is it you want to say, Rod? It's nothing. I can assure you, whatever that the power that has come with the crown has always been irrelevant to my family and I. So stop assuming that everyone around you is after your title or your riches. Did your time with my sister not teach you anything? I'm about to angrily retort when I suddenly stop, my heart sinking. I have already recognized that Evangeline is more complex than I thought she was, and she has also told me that she had never wanted to be a princess. My mother wouldn't have married the king if my father were still here. Delora looks between the two of us and sighs. And here I thought your relationship had improved. Now it seems like it's back to square one. I cross my arms and turn away, annoyed. Do you have anything else to add, Parfait? If not, I would like to return to the palace. Princess, stay vigilant and be careful who you trust. Trust? How do you know whom I trust? What makes you even think I trust you? Gasp. The anger that I was expecting earlier suddenly rises to the surface. For all I know, Parfait and Delora could be feeding me lies, playing me the way Delora did when she first cursed me. I don't expect you to believe that what we've told you. Perhaps it was not yet the right time to reveal everything to you, but please, you need to be careful. I stand up and look at them, my arms now hanging limply at my sides. How am I meant to trust anyone when all of you have been lying to me this entire time? Lucette. If you don't believe us, then try asking the king who Hildur truly is. Gasp. I've never even thought about asking the king about Mother. Rod, you should watch your back too. It's possible that this witch in question could be plotting something against the royal family as well. They have been in the palace for a long time, after all. She looks at me, then at Rod, her expression somber. I won't be able to stay with you anymore. I had to pick up and leave a few days ago because I was certain he caught trace of my magic. He probably already has. I understand. Anyway, Lucette is right to return to the palace now. Someone may notice your absence if you're gone much longer. You two should leave now. Let us know if you notice anything unusual. I will. We'll see you again soon, Princess. Remember, stay vigilant. Rod and I leave the margin in silence. Here in the secret tunnel, we are suffocated under even more silence, but still, neither of us make an effort to speak. I'm still stuck inside my own mind, sifting through my troubled thoughts. I cannot reconcile the fact that the wicked witch who led the witches during the war was my mother. I did not even realize how many people hated my mother until after she had passed away, and they spoke about how cruel a queen she was. I never understood why, since she was always been the perfect person in my eyes. I never connected my mother with the Tenerum bearer, but what Parfait and Delora has told me makes sense. Was I living a lie all those years? A lie that my mother crafted so that I would remain cold and bitter even after she passed away? And Delora and Parfait say I meant to inherit the power of the Tenerum from my mother. I don't want that burden. I almost bump into Rod's back when he suddenly stops walking. He turns around and looks at me with a serious expression. I cannot help but feel judged beneath the weight of his gaze. If you're going to tell me that you never wanted me as your partner because my mother was a witch, then I wasn't going to say that. What? I won't lie. The first time I saw you, I thought you were like your mother. You were cold, harsh, and selfish. I never wanted to have anything to do with you. That was why I was so against this partnership, but you've changed. Oh, he smiled. Rod's expression softens. As you and Em have gone closer, I've seen that you are not like your mother. She speaks fondly of you. I can tell she really enjoys your company. That's why, even if I do not have plans to break my curse, I will still do what I can to help you break yours. It's the least I can do as your partner. I stare at Rod, shocked. This is the first time he's ever been nice to me. Even Nikki can't really handle it. I can't talk. Why are you staring at me like that? I'm only doing this because you're important to my sister. Mm-hmm. Rod turns away, his face beet red. Liar. Rod reaches up to pinch Sibby's face. Ow! I gasp. Ooh. Okay, we're actually... Because it's... Yes, no, I meant to do this earlier. So, sorry to do this to you folks, but we're actually going to pause here at this very tense, sweet moment between these two. And we will pick this up next Monday. As we are getting closer and closer to the end of Rod's playthrough, and it's very sweet, and it's great, and I love it. I love this so much more than Rumple. Like, God, like 10 million times better, as you guys can clearly see. So we're going to save again, just because I obviously saved already, but now I just feel like I need to save extra. Yes, it's 11 o'clock. Y'all should go to bed. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Right? It's so good. It's getting so good. But thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching me crochet and dealing with the cuteness here in Rod's playthrough. But yeah. Until next time, remember, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, wear a mask, stay healthy, take care of everybody, fuck fascists and white supremacists and bigots, and know that we love you and that we will be here for you. So next time you see us will be Thursday with from the Siren Song with Love. So we'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a good night.